So there is some corn in the ground here, but this question pretty much comes up every year when the calendar flips to May, and some of those areas with heavier dirt just haven't quite started planting yet. The optimum planting date for corn varies from year to year depending on weather conditions, but it usually falls somewhere between the last week of April and the first 2 weeks of May, and we don't see yield potential starting to significantly decline until we get into planting dates towards the very end of May. Corn plants progress through growth stages based on heat unit accumulation, not based on calendar days. So the reason why we can plant later and not worry about our corn maturing on time, it takes about 150 heat units for that plant to emerge. So when we're planting super early, especially this year where the nighttime temperatures have been really low, we're not really accumulating many or any heat units, so that seed is just going to sit in the ground. Whereas when we get into kind of the middle of May, especially when you get past the May long weekend, when it really starts to warm up, sometimes your corn can be up and out of the ground in a few days. So even though your planting dates are, a few weeks apart, in most cases your emergence is only a couple days apart. So those plants are going to be not that far away from each other in terms of reaching physiological maturity in the fall. Here's a general guideline on when you should start to think about switching the maturity of your hybrids. So most of our area falls into that 2800 to 3200 heat unit zone. So the earliest we would think about switching our hybrid is around the 20th of May. If we do get to the 20th of May, you would start reducing your hybrid maturity by about 100 heat units or 4 days relative maturity for every week that planting is delayed beyond that cutoff date of the 20th of May. Keep in mind, you only need to worry about swapping out your longest maturity hybrid, so whatever you've kind of pushed your maturity on. For example, I'm in Peterborough in a 2800 heat unit zone. If we get to the 20th of May and we haven't planted any corn yet, I'm probably going to cut my 4640 and my 9494, but I will still plant my 4205, my 4290, etc. And I'm just going to swap those longer maturity hybrids for something shorter. The forecast looks pretty good now, so I think we're still in really good shape. The planting window seems to get shorter every year as everybody has bigger equipment, so there's still tons of time to get things planted in the ideal window and get the crop off to the best start possible. And hopefully you don't need to use any of this information about when to switch your hybrid maturity.